All right, let's go ahead and get started so we can be respectful of everyone's time. My name is Erica Schwegman. I'm the Associate Director of Membership and Operations here at ACI. As we get started today, please remember to stay muted unless you have a question. Feel free to maybe call out your question, use the chat feature at the bottom. You can message me directly or anybody else in the program directly if you want to get to know some of your other participants. We do encourage you to turn your cameras on if you would like. And we are recording this today so we can put it on our YouTube channel and use for future benefit practices and sharing information. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. So with ACI's mission is to grow the Cincinnati region's commercial construction industry. And we do that by focusing on, we focus on delivering workforce solutions that solve talent challenges, engaging in the industry advocacy, removing obstacles, creating a climate of growth, and providing networking opportunities where our members can make meaningful connections and hopefully win business. So we are set up with a board of directors. There are 16 board of directors with, I believe, 6 off the top of my head, executive committees. So we have President Scott Whittle with Humble Industries, Justin Konis as first vice president with Dugan Myers, Mark Lambert with second vice president with CHC, Stephen Mann is our treasurer from Blue & Co. Whitney Eckert is our secretary with Jostin Construction, and Phil O'Brien is our current past president with Turner Construction. And you can see a full list of our additional wonderful board of directors right there. And in recent years, we actually added, the 16th was added, which is our young professional representative, and that is Jeff Ryan with Terex Development and Construction. So we like to have a nice variety of both open shop and union representatives, our young professionals, and our tenured members as well. Throughout the process, if you guys have questions on specific departments, here are some of the folks that you're going to reach out to. If you don't know who to reach out to, feel free to always contact me directly and I can get you in contact with the right folks. We have a very talented staff here, starting with our executive director, Jordan Vogel, who is currently in the rainforests of Belize. And then, of course, I've already introduced myself, and we have Anthony Ricciardi, who is the other associate director of Workforce Solutions. Additional ACI staff, we have Miss Susan Berman, who's our safety program manager, Jen Galt, education program manager, and Dan Wright, who is with our plan room, an IT manager, so he works with all of our project leads. And then we've got Lydia Burns, program manager for CCAP, which you're going to learn about later, and then Mary Timmons, who's our marketing and communications manager. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and my part is done. I'm going to turn it over to John Nyer, who is currently on our membership committee, and he is a senior project manager with HGC Construction. John, on to you.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome. I've done a couple of these now, and I've been a member of ACI for years. But even going back to these informal meetings up front, it brings me back to the real world of what ACI is. ACI has been around for a long time. It was formed in 1929, combining 3 other organizations. Cincinnati has a long history of people committed to construction. Personally, my family's been doing it since 1896. So with ACI, there's also 8 umbrella organizations. We'll go through that in a few minutes. But our membership, at one time it was strictly union, but it was somewhere in the 70s that they started allowing open shop contractors in. So it's what I consider a merit shop organization now. There's room for both union and non-union in the world of the construction industry. So we're supporting them all. Along with, we have some providers and suppliers, consultants and such like that are members. So here are the umbrella organizations. There's a Cincinnati division of the AGC. They got the roofing contractors, the masonry contractors, millwright, steel erectors, fabricators, and riggers, wall and ceiling, tile, marble, terrazzo, And then we also have the Greater Cincinnati Construction Industry Advancement Program. The first 7, well, I'm sorry, 2 through 7, I believe, are primarily union organizations, which we facilitate when they do union negotiations or anything like that, but we don't have a say in, but we just happen to facilitate those. The CAP is funds that are managed by ACI or within ACI for the unions, because they have it to promote the union through their different dues that way. So we help manage that, which helps everybody in the industry. Some of your reasons for joining ACI. There's networking, workforce solutions, the training or education and training, project leads, which I've had a couple come through ACI, and then the advocacy. All of those are really important in ways to maximize your benefits of being a member. And you see your staff, if you have any questions on any of those, they can lead you to where you need to be and explain them much better than I'll ever be able to. If we look at the committees, we have the YP, advocacy, entertainment, the education, innovation technology, insurance and finance, the marketing and communications, membership, safety, scholarship, and workforce development. And I will tell you that over the years, I have been on, I believe, 3 of those, along with I was on the ACI Board of Directors, and I was on the Executive Committee at one time. So those are a lot of different ways to get involved. They all have a number of members, and they're easy to get into generally. There might be a couple that are restricted for the number of members, but like currently membership, we try and keep it around 15, but it's climbed up to 20 before. Sometimes it's dropped down to 12. But there's a lot of flexibility, and everybody has a word in those different committees. So some of the best practices and advice here. Get involved in the committees. The more you're involved, the more you're going to get to meet other people, and other people are going to meet you, and you get the benefits of ACI to the fullest. When you get involved, or even if you're not involved, show up at different venues, meetings and such. The Reds Day, golf outing, annual meeting, just wherever you can, and network. So you want to be networking whenever possible. And there's so many different venues to do that. Utilize the staff, since they are great resources. I don't know, Erica may get tired of the number of times I call her for simple little things, but they're always there with a smile to get it done. And then the biggest one is get involved. I started with it, I always end with it. ACI is only as good as what you put into it. If you're there and say, I'm gonna be a member, it's magically gonna work, save your money. We'd rather have you involved, and you'll get the most benefit out of it. And I will tell you, by being involved, I met different people. And from there, they've put my name out as a recommendation for projects. So it has been very beneficial for me. So I think that covers it for me.
Thank you,
Thanks,
John. And no, you don't call me too much. You all can keep calling me. It's fine. Thanks, John. All right, we're going to turn it over to Charlie Fisher Jr., who is currently on our education committee, and he is the vice president at Craftsman Electric and also one of our original young professionals.
Thank you, Erica. Yeah, I'm going to cover some of the member benefits and go into a little bit more detail about some of the things that John mentioned. As Erica mentioned, I was one of the first, I think, for people to join the ACI YP committee, and was fortunate enough to help get that kind of off the ground. And that's where my involvement started with ACI personally. Craftsman has been, I think, a member for, I don't know now, probably 15 years or so. And we've benefited greatly from being members, taking advantage of, the networking opportunities, obviously, and a bunch of other things that we'll cover here too. So to highlight the member benefits, some of the big things that I want to point out here, the Construction Career Center incorporates now both workforce solutions and education and safety training. Basically, if you need something in terms of safety, HR, any sort of training with leadership development, all of those things can be offered through ACI. Personally, we've put a number of our crew through the leadership training. There's some free HR classes right now that are great. So there's a lot of opportunities to learn. And if at any point you were to need something that wasn't listed, just ask, because ACI is always willing to help out with individual needs. The programming is AGC, NCCER curriculum, but there's also one-off programs as well. So like I said, just ask. In terms of project leads, the Construction Connection is the ACI software that connects you with over 100 projects a day within a 100-mile radius of Cincinnati. So there's a lot of projects available. If you go in there, take a look, and you can narrow by the job type or region or industry that you're in to see more project leads. There's a number of there's a number of cost-saving programs as well, and we'll get into those in the next couple of slides. But there's free programs being offered now, mentorship and both the HR, like I had mentioned. As far as networking opportunities, that's one of, I think, the strengths and one of the things that I enjoy about being a member. All kinds of great outings. The one coming up here is the golf outing at O'Bannon on the 12th of July. It's always a lot of fun and highly attended. Great opportunity to get out and enjoy the weather and meet some people. There's also a number of other events throughout the year. Typically, without a COVID year, there's a lot more, but I know we're all looking forward to getting back out there. This year was a little different. Did the virtual annual meeting, and part 2 will be coming up in late August. So that'll be a lot of fun to get out and celebrate more or less, because the scholarships and awards have been done through the virtual meeting. So, but yeah, there's a lot of other, the clay shoot is a favorite of our organization. A lot of our people go to that. And then the holiday open house is always a lot of fun to come in and meet the staff and take advantage of seeing the whole operation at ACI. The CEO networking are also good opportunities for architects, engineers, contractors, the decision makers at your company to meet each other as well. In terms of cost saving programs, there's a bunch, and it's really about how involved you want to be. Get in and ask questions and see what's available. But a couple that I'll highlight: Beeline is a PPE provider. They offer some big discounts on PPE. The stack card, if you're familiar, it's a way to maintain and organize your certifications for safety. And if you don't have an HR department, they're a great resource. Sutton Leasing is a vehicle fleet management or a company that will offer discounts on vehicle fleet. They're a great provider. And then Warsaw Federal, I know, is working with ACI on providing some discounts for closing costs and some great rates for ACI members as well. But as you can see, there's a ton of great partners that can help you with a number of different areas. So just ask. In terms of the publications, there's quite a few, but the biggest ones to highlight are the quarterly e-magazine, The Constructor. That is posted on the website, and the members can post articles, and then there's always opportunities to advertise to the members if you'd like. So that's something you can reach out and ask about. And then there's the biweekly e-newsletter, The Advantage. Incorporates some of the same things, just has a little bit more detail and has more about the upcoming classes and events that are coming up through ACI. There's a printed directory that was just sent out recently, and that's sent out annually. And then there's an online directory as well. And then also, obviously, with today's day and age, there's social media. So if you're ever looking for upcoming classes or things going on throughout ACI, they're on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and I think recently Instagram too. So there's a number of ways to find out what's going on. And then from an advertising standpoint, you can always reach out if you'd like to on any of those platforms. So they're willing to help there too. And I'd also mentioned here that if you want to utilize a space and need some room for social distancing or something to that effect, you can always reach out and use a room at ACI. So they're willing to help there too. And I'm going to be repetitive. John had mentioned basically the same thing, but from my standpoint, one of the best ways to utilize your membership is just to get involved any way you can. So if it's just by sending a young person at your organization to join the YP committee, I think that's a great way to start getting involved. And they'll bring things back that are going on at ACI and tell you about all the advantages. And that's kind of how we had started getting more and more involved. And a lot of times people from the YP will get, onto another committee as they advance. And so it's a great way to kind of start understanding the way ACI operates. But joining committee is one way. You can just go to networking events or attend the free classes or whatever you can. So whatever you have time for. But yeah, and get to know the staff, because the more you know, or the more people you know at ACI, the more you understand that they're willing to do a lot for you and help you out. So if you need a solution for something, you can always ask, and do not be shy to ask for training. That's one thing. I'm on the education committee. We're always looking for ideas and ways we can help. And so I know that there's been a number of times we've done one-off classes for a specific organization, and we're always willing to do that. So yep, like John said, get involved, and that's the best way to use your membership. But with that, I will pass it off to Joe.
Real quickly, Charlie, thank you so much for presenting and being here today. I love that you said, don't be shy. I can't tell you the number of times that myself or Jen Galt or Anthony or Jordan or Susan get calls for just really, for lack of better terms, pickly situations. They're just kind of in a pickle and they don't know where to go, whether it be safety, something unfortunately happens and OSHA's being called in. We can help with resources. We can help with solutions on that. So yeah, don't be shy. We get all of the strange calls. We get all the serious calls. We get some fun calls as well. So thank you again, Charlie, for your time today. And with that, Joe Beischel, who is on our board of directors and president of RJ Beischel Building Company.
Thanks, Erica. Well, welcome everybody. I'm happy to be here with everybody this morning and tell you a little bit about ACI. So I'm going to take a little bit deeper dive in some of the workforce solutions things. ACI does a lot of work with workforce solutions and workforce development at a bunch of different levels. So there's K through 12 programs. So there's the CCAP, Construction Career Advancement Program, which is a really cool program that's really launching and I think has the potential to be regional, if not a national program eventually. It's really a cool program that's being developed right here in Cincinnati at ACI. It really gets in with grade school kids and builds construction, math, and stuff like that into their curriculum and introduces them to construction from a very early age. And it's proven to be very successful. So that's supported by the Spirit of Construction as well, which is another organization that ACI is it's not a part of ACI, but work together with them quite a bit. There's also career exploration with construction career days. We bring in 2,600 students in the Butler County Fairgrounds every year, and they get some hands-on stuff, get introduced to a lot of different contractors, and just try to get kids excited about a career in construction. And there's even some all-women programs that are being developed for the K through 12 to try to get women involved. There's obviously women are underrepresented in the trades, and trying to really tap into that potential workforce for the construction industry. On the higher education side, there's a lot of scholarships that are given away. I think, let's see, for notes, almost $66,000 were given in scholarships this past year from money donated by member firms to college students in the construction industry. And see, they had what, 79 people apply last year, 19 people were awarded, with 73% of them were underrepresented groups, which were minorities and women. So that's pretty cool. There's also skilled trade awards, which the Charlie referred to the ACI YPs earlier. They've started the skilled trade award where they raise money through several programs that they do, including Say Yes to the Mess. Money they use, they give $500 scholarships to as many, I think it's 10 different tradespeople to try to encourage them to continue with their career in trades, and maybe help them with buying tools and different things that they might need to stay in the trade. So that's a really cool program as well. Other workforce solutions issues. ACI hosts apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship programs. You can see there a list of a bunch of different trades. The pre-apprenticeship programs are really cool because they are trying to get people ready for an apprenticeship program. So they teach them kind of basic stuff, OSHA 10, some kind of work skills, how to make sure you show up on time, just all the kind of stuff to get them ready for an apprenticeship program. And these apprenticeship programs that the ACI houses are the open shop side. The union apprenticeship programs are typically run by the unions, but these are apprenticeship programs, some that are in the union, some with not. Also, with professional development, there's NCCER training. That's partnership with Urban League and Community Action Agency, Easter Seals, and Jobs for Cincinnati graduates. So there's a lot of different programs that are run through that. We have a mentor program trying to young people connected with more seasoned people in the industry to help them through their careers. AGC has some programs since we're associated with AGC. AGC has some really good project management training classes that we house at ACI. And then there's a leadership excellence program that ACI teams up with Xavier University to put on, which is a really good program as well. Another thing that another focus for ACI is advocacy. So ACI is always trying to figure out a way to help their members, right? So they're always trying to do things for the commercial construction industry, trying to drive policy decisions and legislation that helps us as contractors, make sure that our voices are all heard, and to promote careers in construction. So one of the best ways that happens is with ACI's relationship with AGC. So AGC Cincinnati is housed at ACI. And so AGC is an organization which does a lot of lobbying and things like that at the state and federal level. And so they're able to really make contractors' concerns known at a higher level to our legislators to try to make sure we're being taken into consideration with any new legislation that's coming along. They also have a PAC that raises money to try to support legislators that are running for office that we feel like will be helpful to our industry as well. My best practice and advice are almost exactly the same as the other guys. ACI is not passive. If you just pay your dues and don't do anything, it's not going to be any fun for you, and you're not going to get anything out of it. So get involved. I think the easiest way to get involved is just find a committee that's something along your interest level, depending on which. There's a lot of committees, and there's bound to be one that's something that you're interested in. Join a committee, and you'll start meeting people there, and it's a great way to start getting involved. Go to as many networking events as possible. That'll be happening pretty soon here, and that's, I think, a big reason a lot of people belong to ACI, and it's been missing obviously for the past year and a half, but it's about ready to come back, and I think it's great. It's a great way to get to know people in our industry, build relationships. I mean, that's one thing, a big thing that's, I think, is harder to do these days than it used to be, with all the, everything being email and everything, and people don't get together face to face as much as they used to. So these networking events, I think, are even more important than they used to be. I think listen and learn. There's so much to learn from your peers. If you're willing to be open and listen to what they say and be open with your situations and your needs. I can't tell you how many things I've learned from my people that are supposed to be my competitors. They are my competitors a lot of times, but they're also my peers, and we learn a lot from each other. And ACI is a great place to make those connections, to do that. And then use the resources the ACI offers. As was mentioned before, there's a ton of them. And if you don't see what you're looking for, just ask, and then we'll always figure out a way to help you. So that you use ACI for all the things that you're paying for, and I think you'll find it very valuable membership.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Joe. I really appreciate you taking some time to be here today, and Charlie and John as well. I know John had to hop off, but what we're going to do real quickly is I'm going to open this up for a couple of comments or questions for you guys. I've had a couple of really good ones coming through on chat. I also want to take the opportunity, my colleague, Christy Farrow, unfortunately, we didn't have her picture in the program. I'm so sorry, but Christy is on here today, and she is she runs the CAP program through here at ACI. So it's a construction advancement program. So if you have specific questions about our apprenticeship programs through the union, she is on here and can answer any of those questions. So thank you, Christy, for being with us today. We've also gotten, we do have a couple of folks on here who are not members, and that's wonderful. Welcome. One of the questions was, how do you join? What is the best way to go about it? You're more than welcome to either sign up through our website, aci-construction.org, or you can email me and I can send you a copy of our application to send in with either check or credit card, whichever you'd like. One of the questions was about networking, and as the gentlemen have said, yes, networking in person is back, and we are so excited. We were a little bit anxious because the Reds outing had sold out and we had quite a long waiting list, but thanks to the changing of all the orders and everything, we have plenty of Reds tickets to go. So that registration has been opened back up. So please join us. And then of course we have the golf outing on July 12th at O'Bannon, which Charlie mentioned, an annual meeting part 2. I'm actually watching emails coming through right now through one of our committee members and kind of getting the final details together for that. So we'll be announcing that date and location here in the coming weeks. One of the questions that we had come through was over DEI. How or does ACI track DEI? Do we know about MBE, so minority, women-owned businesses, small business enterprises, so on and so forth? And yes, this is a space that ACI has been in and is growing much larger into. We're getting into it much more. We understand that, there are definitely some missing pieces. I think it was Joe that mentioned, women in construction, minorities in construction. That's an area that we're really trying to explore and expand and really change the image and the language around construction, the stereotypes around construction, so on and so forth. So DEI is a huge part of that. We do track and we know which of our member companies have the classifications of MBE, SBE, WBE, so on and so forth. They are absolutely listed in our membership directory, both online and the physical printout. We do have members, often our contractors, architects, and engineers call us and say, hey, we need some more WBE, SBE, MBE members or contractors. Do you have a list? And we share those lists all the time. So the other thing is we don't have a committee for it right now, but this is something that Jordan, our executive director, is really expanding the idea about and the thought about is bringing in that committee. How do we work with the community? How do we expand it here at ACI? So we already have a couple of folks that are interested, and he's working with the board of directors to figure out what are next steps for that. So if that's something that you're really interested in, absolutely let us know and we can get your information to Jordan as well. So with that, do you guys have any other questions? You can unmute yourself and ask a question, put it in the chat. Let me know any questions out there. Perfect. I think I covered them all from the chat from while we were kind of going through the presentation. With that, again, thank you guys so much for coming and being a part of this with us today. Our last benefits program of the year will be September 15th. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be back in person in the ACI Training Center for that, which is very exciting. So again, to our members, thank you for being with us today. Get engaged, contact me if you have questions, or any of my amazing colleagues. And if you're not a member and you're interested in joining, just contact me or get online and we'll take care of you. I hope you guys have a great day, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you again, Charlie, Joe, and John. Have a good one.